Hello, this is the RPG Crawler with a sort of on-the-fly product review. This time I am covering Weather Almanac Snowy Lowlands from Stromberg Press, written by Daniel Harris. Now, it is actually part of one of a series of supplements, system agnostic, but designed to familiarize people with particular climates and particular biomes and such for use with role playing games. For people who really kind of want to get a sense of the weather during any particular time of year. Now, Weather Almanac was given to me free of charge, but in order to review. But it is a relatively modestly priced offering, so there is that. Going into the contents, it is divided into various sections. You've got a quick use section, an idea of combat situations that might involve that particular type of weather, wilderness travel within that weather. You've got an explanation of dates, day and nighttime temperatures, temperature category, the individual weather descriptions, as well as what might be seen at dawn and dusk, wind conditions, how night vision and moonlight interact with it because that can change lighting and such, a list of dangers and then encounters, and then the actual almanac itself that would describe various weather patterns through various sections of the year divided by month. How to quickly use the data simply goes over the rough guidelines of what to expect within the product itself. Combat systems basically gives you various modifications for your movement, vision, perception, ranged attacks, and then lighting in a particular type of weather effect. You've got wilderness travel that also dictates alterations to movement, getting lost, tracking, and so forth in individual weather effects. You've got the descriptions of the date, which relies on real world dates rather than fantasy dates. You can translate it to your local calendar if you've got a specific one for your particular campaign world. You've got the explanation that day and night temperatures will vary. What you're looking at is the average temperature, so high and low can vary pretty wildly depending on particular weathers. You've got your various temperature categories, which instead of doing like specific degrees, you can just go to individual categories because that's what's going to have the main game effect when you're actually breaking into things. Then we've got the description of the various weather conditions so that you can cross-reference them from here up to the tables given above. It includes everything from light cover to storms and such. You've got dawn and dusk times, which can vary depending on the location. This one, for instance, is the Snowy Lowlands. It's actually based on Finland, which is up near the Arctic Circle. But if you're running a fantasy setting, you really need to pay attention to where the particular Arctic terrain is located on your planet, because it may not be up where the Arctic Circle is on Earth. You've got wind conditions, which can give you various descriptions of the types of wind to expect in each category. You've got a description on how night vision and the moon will interact with something. And I believe all of these reference things that come later in the book. You've got various dangers that can be given, although it is very light compared to a book that is devoted entirely to dangers and hazards that you might encounter. Although there are some nice ideas in here. You've got the lost ship, there's a beast hidden in the ice, that sort of thing. Pretty much typical for the particular Arctic terrain that this book describes. It can be used as a little bit of a source of inspiration. And then you've got some rough encounters. Now, these encounters are based on real life encounters, so you will probably want to translate them into whatever system you're using for stats and such. It does give some ideas on fantasy encounters. As you can see, just a quick list: giants, giant bears, ice elementals, and such. But these are the actual table is mostly what you'd see in terms of real world animals. Here is your tables. You've got basically a very rough sort of guideline for each day, like each section. For instance, you've got the dates on the left that gives you the individual days, tells you when dawn is, tells you the overall weather for that particular day. And these are weather patterns that can vary, but it can be used as an incredibly easy to look up table if you don't want to go through rolls and such. This basically duplicates the weather over 1 year, including temperature, winds, apparent temperature, and then the overall air temperature, and that's for the whole day, so it is not for any particular time period. And you've got the nighttime temperatures as well, and this one will actually tell you what the moon cycles are if you've got a moon that's based on the Earth lunar moon. And of course, that goes out the window if you've got fantasy moons with different orbits, but, you know, take it as you will. We've got what darkness or what lighting level is qualified for outside, so that you can figure out how it interacts with dark vision or just general vision whatsoever, as well as your average temperature. And you've got astrological events in there as well. And it goes through this for the entire year, back and forth. You've got day, night, day, night. And it goes through, I believe it's broken down in, not into seasons, but into roughly like almost quarterly kind of, well, not quarterly, but like demi seasons kind of thing, where you've got October to December, and then just the tail end of the year there. And that is the entirety of the book. It's short, it's sweet, and there is a lot of information. It is, as I said, system agnostic. As you can tell, there's nothing in here really that lists particular system effects, except that if your system is based on 5th edition or it has similar advantage/disadvantage mechanics, you can get it from these tables. If your system does not, then you can take an appropriate step for your individual system. So it is kind of leaning towards 5th edition, but there's no hard numbers in here except for the temperatures, which really don't matter. And almost all of these creature types can be translated into most systems, even if you have to extrapolate a little bit. All in all, for the cost, so what do I think about it? The writing is clear. It is incredibly clear. Yellow, what's up? Oh, that sounds great, man. That sounds great. Okay. The writing is incredibly clear. It is easy to read. It is surprisingly well organized. The contents are short, but they are packed with information. As far as what I think of this book, it is very, very nice for somebody who does not have experience with a particular climate or a particular type of terrain. Now, ideally, a DM is going to go ahead and research something for a particular area. But if you are running a game in a terrain that you're not familiar with, for the modest price of this particular offering, or ones like it, as I said, it is part of a series. I believe they've got a desert one out as well. Might be a few others. I honestly think it might well be worth it. Save you a bunch of time. And it gives you a very easy way to quickly look up what can be expected of a particular day in case you don't feel like rolling the particular table. I would have liked to have seen some sort of, rolling system in there, but I can understand that they were going more for kind of almost like a farmer's almanac sort of thing, where you can look at what's expected on a particular day. And I can appreciate that. So, it might be worth taking a look at. I will put the links below. This has been the RPG Crawler with a quick, sort of off-the-cuff kind of review of Weather Almanac's Snowy Lowlands. If you like what you've seen, remember to leave a like, comment on any feedback, and subscribe for more RPG content. Until next time, take care and goodbye.